I definitely got to touch on this Cam Newton situation because I was a fan of Cam Newton throughout his whole career. I remember living in Charlotte between 2008 and 2012 when Cam Newton was drafted to the Carolina Panthers. I had every jersey, every nightgown. It was Carolina Panthers Cam Newton. So I am a big fan. But let me tell you, that interview with Dr. Bryant was no surprise to me at all. And I'm going to tell you why. So if you didn't know the backstory with Cam Newton and his first baby mama, his baby mama was a stripper in Charlotte. Cam had just been drafted to the Charlotte Panthers. I believe he is younger than her, and she was a single mom to one daughter. So actually, when he first got with her, because he was so fine back then, I'm not a fan of the dreads, but he was so fine back then, I kind of appreciated him getting a single mom out the strip club because I felt like, you know, he don't care what people think. He's doing his own thing. Love is love. Let's proceed. Now, instead of him pulling her from the strip club, which he knew that was her only means of income. She was an exotic dancer. That was her only means of income. She's a single mom. Instead of you pulling her from the strip club and girlfriending her or wifey her up and putting her through school, letting her become a lawyer, letting her become a doctor, pursue her education, instead y'all kept having baby after baby after baby after baby. So at 1, 2, 3, 4, you know you're gonna have to financially support this lady for the rest of her life because she didn't go back to school and get advanced education. So my thing is, he is so proud of claiming that it's not a broken home, but it is a broken home because at the end of the day, I don't know if she's moved to Atlanta, but last time I checked, she was in Charlotte with the kids and he was in Atlanta. He opened up a restaurant in Atlanta, got the side chick pregnant while he was still in a relationship with her. The side chick lived upstairs from his Goodfellas restaurant. Still does, if I'm not mistaken. Last time I heard, that's what Atlanta Street says. She still does live upstairs from Goodfellas restaurant for easy access. So that's the second broken home. You wasn't even with her for long. And then here pops up a new girlfriend, Jazzy, and you have a new baby with her. Every relationship does not equate to a baby. You know what that tells me? It screams broken. Now, are other people broken? Are we all broken? Yes, we are. But for you to leave a lady with 4 additional kids besides the one she already had as a single mom and not wife her is not gentleman qualities. That's like some hood rat. And then, not only that, after y'all break up, you're taking her back into court. Y'all are fighting over electric bills, child support, paternity. It's not effective co-parenting when you're putting your kid's mother through all of that stress. And then you are the one that cheated on her and made a baby on her, end up moving to a whole different city and starting new families. So, and just like Dr. Bryant made a point to say, you don't want your son to do the same things that you do or make those choices that you make, and you don't want your daughters to make those same choices too. But I definitely feel like it needs to be a lot of healing in this man, and us as women cannot come in and try to fix broken men unless a man acknowledges that he is broken and needs to be fixed. And obviously he didn't set her up for success. He set her up to be a baby mama.
So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be talking about Cam Newton basically getting dragged for the filth by life coach Dr. Bryant. And this has been controversial but also insightful to see him be held accountable for the way how he's been going about procreating with different women, creating broken homes, and also being fearful of marriage. Cam Newton is a former NFL player. He's originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and he is currently 35 years old. He is the current NFL leader in career quarterback rushing touchdowns, and he played for 11 seasons, most notably with the Carolina Panthers. Most recently, Cam Newton is obviously retired from the game, but he still hosts camps, he still talks about sports, he still weighs in on football, but he is the host of his podcast called Funky Friday. It's described as a lighthearted series facilitating a dialogue ranging from lifestyle talk, relationships, and workplace habits to the latest in pop culture and entertainment news, each week featuring a different celebrity guest. So on this episode, he invites celebrity life coach, Dr. Bryant, who this was my first time hearing about her, so I don't know too much about her, but just doing a quick research, she is a very impressive woman. She's a psychology expert, she works for MTV, and she's also an author, so I definitely gave her a follow on Instagram. So in this episode of his podcast, they're talking about women's expectations, low functioning men, dating, marriage, and if you know Cam Newton, he's been in long-term relationships, but he hasn't been married. He has 6 biological children with his longtime former girlfriend named Kia Proctor. He also considered a child that she had from a previous relationship as his own. He also has a baby with pageant and Instagram model Lorena Shaw. They have a son together, and she also had a child from a previous relationship that he raised as his own. And then most recently, he has a new baby with his girlfriend Jasmine Brown, who she is supposed to be a comedian, but she does get clowned a lot. And in the interview, he said he is fearful of divorce more than he has a desire to get married. And I'll be real, I think that's not necessarily common, but pretty standard with a lot of men and women. And that's why we have a lot of excuses or lack thereof when it comes to marriages. And we've now convinced ourselves as a society, whether we're younger or older, that marriage is not worth entertaining that sacrament. So I wanted to talk about Cam Newton and this interview, but I also wanted to talk about 2 other men in entertainment that have actively participated in a similar approach, either being fearful of marriage or creating broken homes with multiple women just because they have the money and the power to do so. Tyreek Hill is an NFL wide receiver. He's originally from Douglas, Georgia, and he literally was just named the #1 player in the NFL overall. That was recently announced. And he is actually married to a woman named Kita Vaquero. They announced that she's pregnant for the first time just about a month ago. They'll be having a daughter. But he was previously engaged to a woman named Crystal Espinal back in 2018, and they have 3 children together. Yet in March of last year, he had a son with a woman named Camille Vallone. Yet towards the end of 2023, 2 women named Brittany Lackner and Kimberly Baker gave birth to his children, as we found out through the paternity lawsuits that they filed. And literally last month in July, a judge confirmed that he is the father to Kimberly's son. So he gets ruled as the father last month, the same month that he announced that him and his wife are having a baby. Crazy.
Tyreek, man, a Florida judge has ruled that Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill is the father of another child, a baby girl. Hill reportedly has over 12 children, and it's 5 this year thus far. All right, this is just weeks after Hill announced his wife is expecting. My boy hit 5 in 1 year. Damn. Boy, nailing him. Boy, what's wrong with your boy?
That's diabolical.
I mean, crazy work,
bro. That's insane work right there, bro.
And so at this point, he has at least 10 children with 4 different women. Just despicable. And lastly, as we all know, Nick Cannon is another man who has decided that he wants to have a Noah's Ark full of children and populate the earth as a flesh insemination machine. Since 2011, Nick Cannon has welcomed 12 children, and I don't even think he's going to stop yet, but I hope he is done. But that is wishful thinking. He shares twins, which are Moroccan and Monroe, with his ex-wife Mariah Carey. He has 2 sons and a daughter with a woman named Brittany Bell. He also has twins, Zion and Zillian, and a daughter with Abby De La Rosa. He has a son with a woman named Bree Tiesi. He also has 2 children with a woman named Alyssa Scott, and then another daughter that was born after he did lose a child. Now, that was a lot of information. Don't even worry about each and every child, because amongst these 3 men, I couldn't even keep up. However, just know that between these 3 men right here, we're looking at close to 30 children. Between the 3 men, they all average out at about 10 kids each, and it's not like these are 10 kids by one woman under one house. Obviously, the homes are broken due to lack of sexual self-control, due to fear of commitments, whether it's marriage or even boyfriend and girlfriend relationships, and the overall message of men being the pioneers of a culture that does not serve the family unit, women, and children's development, and their own moral and physical obligations as a father. This video is mostly about Cam Newton and the interview he did with Dr. Bryant, yet I think her message applies to all 3 examples, and as much as I've talked about baby mamas, I think the baby daddies have to get on the crucifixion stand tonight. So I've broken this video down into 2 main talking points, so without further ado, let's get right into this video. So my first point is loud moans lead to broken homes and a slew of chromosomes. In this interview conducted by Dr. Bryant, I think she basically encompasses anything that I could say in my video or any video I've ever done about this situation perfectly. She talks about how it's very selfish of not just Cam Newton, but honestly anybody doing what he's doing, to utilize their fear of commitment to marriage to create broken homes under the guise of them having the money, the fame, and the resources to take care of children. It goes without saying that taking care of children is way more than just being able to provide provide for them financially. On top of that, considering the physical toll that it takes on the mother's body, when a man is present for his pregnant girlfriend or wife, it does alleviate a bit of stress, or at least it offsets the load of work and responsibility needed to take care of that child. And so when men are creating broken homes, there's a lot of women suffering a silent battle where they're taking 100% of the role to not only get through pregnancy, but raising the children. And I think it's glamorized, especially with men in entertainment and specifically in sports, where because somebody is rich, the child won't need for anything. But unfortunately, a lot of these men aren't realizing that within babies, infants, like those who can't walk or talk or understand the value of money, they don't care about that at the stage of their life. They don't realize that being broke or poor or being rich and wealthy plays a role on their happiness and the presence of both parents. I've seen couples who are barely making ends meet stick together through childbirth and have happier children than the absent rich father who feels as though his financial contribution is his parental contribution. So I wanted to take a look at the clip. It's about 5 minutes long, but it's really good because she does hold him accountable. And I think Cam was a bit immature and childish initially when she was speaking. I haven't watched his podcast, so maybe that's just his personality. But at the same time, when it comes to the topic of children, fatherhood, and the success and development of the family unit, I think it should be taken seriously. So grab a snack. Let's get into this clip.
A lot of people see my situation and not think that I'm not high functioning.
What situation?
See my situation? That's a very vague question, and it's for you
What
to
situation are you referring to that they're looking at and thinking is not high functioning?
Just my life.
Your life entirely, or your life in relationships?
My life.
See, don't deflect. Let's stay here. Your life entirely, or your life in relationships?
Both, really.
And they think that you're low functioning.
No, I don't.
You just said people see your life and think you're not high functioning. The opposite of that would be low functioning.
No. Okay, so here you go. You're trying to take my intentions away from this. Can I correct it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or can I give you more?
Yeah, some more information. Heck yeah.
So, I'm not married, right? I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
I didn't do my research. I thought it was 4, but 8. Okay.
No, baby.
Cool.
It's
By how
8.
many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more. Now.
By multiple women? What's the intent?
I just want God
about
to
your
bring
wife?
him. I just want God to bring him.
Oh, okay. And you have, so you just.
Because my point is this. My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. So, as you would say it, Dr. Bryant, you said it, I didn't say it, I will agree. I'm just taking my time.
You're not taking your time.
I am, though.
You're being very action-based. You're not taking your time. You're being very action-based.
I'm taking my time.
You're being very action-based. You have 8 kids with 3 different women.
Yes.
You are creating, procreating, and multiplying. That is not taking your time. You're being very selectively active. Okay? So you're creating, in disclaimer, the kids are innocent, they are beautiful and amazing. Anything I say has nothing to do with them babies, because I can't wait to be a mom, and I love the kids, period. But you are proactively choosing where you want to be active at and where you want to take your time. You want to take your time in having a wife because of your own fears. But you will, and I say this with all respect and love, what I'm about to say next, okay, Cam? But you will selfishly create broken families, even if you're in their life and you're a proactive father, and I believe you're an amazing daddy. I can only imagine with just your presence and knowing you thus far. But these families are still broken. Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there. Now, you chose to do that. I'm not saying you sat there and woke up one morning and said, I want to be selfish today, so I'm going to go make a baby. Not saying that at all. But those are selfish acts at the expense of your fear. So at what point do you feel the fear, do it anyways? And yeah, that is a low functioning behavior. To say that I am going to create these homes. Let me go better. I'm going to build these houses and put kids and these beautiful women and kids in them, but I ain't going to create a home in them. I'm going to wait till I dissipate my fear to find a wife where I'm still going to be fearful with, because there's no such thing as not having some type of nerve or some type of feeling behind marrying somebody who you're spending your life with. And then I'm going to build a home with her while all these other beautiful babies have houses. That's completely unfair and it's selfish.
Just tell me when I can solve.
Yeah, almost. That's completely unfair and that's selfish. And so, yes, you're taking your time in this department, but you're not taking your time in this department, which means you're compartmentalizing. And compartmentalizing never works. Compartmentalizing hurts everybody involved. Everybody who's in this box and that box and this box and that box and this box. And then here you go over here trying to figure out what box you're going to feed or entertain or do. Then you're looking outside to figure out who's your next victim to put in the box. It's unhealthy. And it's a huge dysfunction within our Black community that I truly believe personally, statistically, mental health-wise, and community-wise, that Black men would stop.
Black men will what?
Stop doing that, that they would stop that dysfunctional behavior of compartmentalizing and creating houses, not homes, and then finally a home with the wife. And then you have all these other houses that are homeless. But you over here, at some point when you do get a wife, if you do, I'm saying if that's what you want, you will. You'll get whatever you want. You're trying to create a home. Totally dysfunctional and extremely, that's the epitome of selfish. Epitome of selfish.
So now it's time to break this all the way down. I think Cam Newton is trying to take this philosophical, intuitive, intellectual approach to the conversation, but you can't outsmart actual intelligence and honesty. Dr. Bryant tells him straight up, no, you're not taking your time. He says that he wants more children, which means you want to create more broken homes because you're not committed to the family. You're committed to maybe the love that you get from a child, the fact that you like babies, or maybe the fact that you like to have sex and ejaculate in women. Let's not forget there are some men who really get a high out of that. There's some men that lack sexual self-control. There's some men who refuse to wear condoms, who refuse to do their part in preventing broken homes because it's just entitlement and selfishness. There's no way to flip it. So no, he's not taking his time at all. He said he wants God to bring them, but even if God is bringing them, you're the vessel that makes the choices in this world where we have free will to do as you want. And what he's doing to me isn't even of God. And that's just that. I hate when people try to say all of these religious things, but what you're defending isn't even what is biblical. I'm a believer and I don't use my belief to hammer down on people on this channel. I don't like when people do that. But if you're gonna bring him up, let's bring God up in the correct context where he's not gonna have people exercising the sacrament of marriage and childbirth incorrectly. And come to find out, both of Cam Newton's parents are pastors. So he grew up very aware of biblical context. So I just didn't like that addition because don't God me, okay? Don't tell me that God is the reason for this. No, you're actually defying what God says to do. But this isn't about that. Moving on. So Dr. Bryant says he has 8 kids with 3 different women. He is creating and procreating and choosing where he wants to be active at with his time. And that's facts. You can't say that you want to take your time, but your time is spent making women your nutter butter peanut butters because your statistics show that there's 8 children amongst 3 women. That's bad stats. Like if we were talking football, if your throwing percentage was a 3 out of 8, you're getting cut. That's not the average amount of children that even married couples have. You're not a farmer, but maybe you are. It's like you're harvesting children left and right. But literally, it's almost hard to believe that you had all this time to be this NFL great when you literally have all these children and then are fixing your mouth to say that you want more. And it's not like he's saying that he wants more with the girlfriend that he has now. He just says he wants more in general. Clown behavior. I swear he's probably in competition with Nick Cannon and Tyreek Hill. Moving on. She talks about how he is selfishly creating broken homes, which is an obvious fact, because even if you're an amazing father, there's no way you can be in 3 different households. You're choosing to isolate yourself to one with your current relationship, and that's good for the children that are there. But at the same time, even if you're most present in that household, you're still having to take away the time that you would spend in that household to attend to other households that you've already broken. Now, I will say relationships don't always work out, whether it's boyfriend and girlfriend or marriages. However, the thing with divorce, a lot of times people are getting divorced and all of their children are within the household that was previously established. And they're not running around to 3, 4, 5 different places. They're usually in some type of agreement where although they may be with mom most of the time, they still have their equal share with dad, whether it's on the weekends or just alternating weeks. And that's still a struggle for a lot of children. She even says that when this happens, the children end up with some type of deficit. And that could be the lack of presence by the father, the questioning as to why their father is somewhere else, confusion, not having an outlet to speak about things to their father on a frequent basis. Oftentimes we say daughters need their dad because in most cases it does prevent young girls from making certain choices choices when it comes to them dating boys. But boys need their fathers too. Insert K. Michelle, you can't raise a man. But mothers do their best to still raise sons without fathers, but there's still things that as a man you instill into your young man or your son that are exclusive to a man's experience in life. And she also talks about doing all of this is literally just a selfish act in response to his fear of divorce. Now, on the topic of divorce, I think it's fair for anybody to fear breaking up or fear of divorce. And just bringing God back into this, to me, if you don't have God in your relationship, in most cases, it's just not going to work out. Or if it's not God, for those who aren't believers, just having the idea of faith, the idea of commitment, the idea of what marriage is supposed to be, whether you're a believer or not. So if you already don't believe in long-term commitment, true love, working through hard times, the ups and downs, all of the marital vows that people are supposed to take, then yeah, your fear is going to be higher because you're already not exercising the virtues that will uphold a marriage. I'm not going to undermine his fear of divorce, but it is slightly cowardly when he's been in a long-term relationship and he's played house with women. At one point, he had all of his children and their mother in one household. And of course, that isn't marriage, but it's kind of synonymous with it because the household of your woman and your kids is something that he's experienced before. And I think he has to be honest with what the real issue is here. Is it a fear of divorce, or is it you're just so selfish that you rather create unions that aren't permanent so you can do as you want on your time with your free will for the sake of yourself? Overall, it does get chalked up to what Dr. Bryant said as low functioning behavior, because you're not functioning with a high level of honoring your choices that you've made to create children and sticking by the most healthy environment, the best way forward to create a fruitful outcome. And she also says that she wishes that the Black community and that Black men would have a better grip or a better understanding of what exactly is happening and how detrimental this is overall. And of course, it happens in a lot of different communities, but unfortunately, Black people get the overall stereotype and become the poster child for broken homes and fatherless households, because I think a lot of Black men are selfish about their position in society. When you look at Tyreek Hill and look at Nick Cannon, they have accolades and higher earning careers that award them privileges. And we have to be honest, men will never get the short end of the stick when it comes to their requirements and their obligations to parenting, because women bear the children and push them out and bond with the child inside of them for like 40 weeks. So men are subconsciously acknowledging that they have the option, not the right, but the option to do as they please and move around because they can populate again and again and again with multiple women, literally up until it's time for them to go. At a certain point in a woman's life, menopause happens, and now your body is not going to let you have children. Or even so, once you reach a certain age, now you have the label of high-risk pregnancy. Or even more, there's a lot of women dealing with infertility issues, and it's interesting because a lot of those infertility issues are scientifically caused by men. And men know this, but we don't hammer down the same shame, that scrutiny, that forced responsibility that a man should have to be in their child's life in all facets, and definitely as an equal to the mother. Imagine if we were living in a fairly odd parents world where it's the man who gets pregnant. They wouldn't even know what to do. So I thought this entire clip was very well said on Dr. Bryant's behalf, because I felt like Cam was trying to deflect at first, and he was almost defensive and in denial about his choices, and she held him accountable. A lot of men love to say that women are never accountable, we never want to be accountable, but in this case, these men don't get to be accountable because at the end of the day, it's women who are stepping up to play both roles in their children's life. Him saying that he wants more children but does not want to be married sounds like he's still scouring and scouting for another victim. There's men out there racking up baby mamas like they're racking up infinity stones, and he tried to think that he was deep, he tried to think that he was smart, he tried to think that he was this holistic and natural and all-knowing being, but you have 8 kids by 3 different women and you want more. That is not smart. We need to neuter these nakers, please and thank you. My second and final point is the women. It would be remiss of me to not mention the women's role in all of this, because yes, I'm holding men accountable in this video, but it always takes 2 to tango. Now, Cam Newton's current girlfriend and child's mother is Jasmine Brown. She's a comedian and the 3rd member to his 3 Musketeers. She actually did address their relationship a while ago during one of her stand-ups. Let's check out the clip.
I'm the 3rd one, and this is his 6th child. Someone said, ooh, right, couldn't have been me. All right, till Larissa put that pressure on you. She'll never be. She ain't never had. Oh, you better than me. I am. What the hell? And I'm reading this shit. It's so funny because he was clapping back at a couple of people. He was clapping back at a couple of people in the comments too, which was great. I was like, yeah, man, get him. Can't nobody read your font, but.
So she's taking a comedic approach to her situation that isn't even funny. So you mean to tell me that when a rich naker puts that pressure on you, turn the other way to degeneracy? And the thing is, she really wasn't lying about the honest aspect about how a lot of women, especially these pretty and successful and social media popular women, act when it comes to men like Cam Newton. He has a bag and now your throat is gonna gag. He has some fame and now you're giving your baby his last name. He has a jersey numbers, so now y'all are in the covers down under. I mean, what type of logic is that? And again, it's honest, but it's not morally right. And let's be real, a lot of the women in these situations between Cam, Tyreek Hill, and Nick Cannon, they see a dollar sign. And that's why I think these men should really be ashamed of themselves, because you're a commodity, you're a come up, you're a cash cow for a lot of women. But because you're so selfish and narcissistic, you either don't realize that or at least prioritize that. I feel like if you're a man of a certain earning level, and a woman too, and you're dealing with women who have significantly less than you, understand that it's in a lot of women's nature to look at you as an asset. I mean, we tell women to get a bag, we tell women to practice hypergamy, we tell women to go for higher earning men, high caliber men. We award and praise women who are able to get with men who have influence. And the thing is, the girls are doing that. The question for men is, are you able to realize what's going on? The average woman does not sign herself up to be someone's third or fourth or seventh baby mother just because she likes you. And I'm going to say that again for the men listening. The average woman is not signing herself up to be the third or fourth or seventh baby mother just because she likes you. She's either dumb or you have an asset that is appealing to her. And I could play devil's advocate and say that maybe that's why some of these men are selfish. Maybe they think a woman will never love them for who they are versus what they have. But at some point, you have to have the experience and the maturity to easily weed out the groupies and to look at a woman and tell by her moral compass and her moral code if she's here for love or for lust of something else. I feel like maybe the first one or maybe two baby mamas are being real and they're there because they've been with you before or at the beginning of your success. But when you're established in your field, you can't think otherwise. You gotta think smart. So all of this seems very transactional to me with a lot of these men and women in these situations, because there is a give and a take. And holding the woman's feet to the fire, I get that Dr. Bryant meticulously analyzed Cam Newton's selfishness and what he's actively doing. My only small critique of what she did is that Cam Newton makes no excuses for what he's doing. It's outright, it's public, it's blatant, it's in our face. So when it's happening, I'm not gonna be shocked by his decisions because he is who he is and he's shown it. A lot of women are not going into a man like Cam Newton for love and stability and a solid foundation for their family. You are knowingly agreeing to be a part of someone's collection, and I never understand why they're either shocked or just have to deal with the consequences of someone doing exactly what they showed us they were going to do. Believe men when they show you who they are. Men are a lot more decisive, and honestly, they are a lot more unforgiving and unapologetic for the selfish choices that they make. Deep down inside, Cam Newton and the rest know exactly what they're doing. They know that they're wrong. They know that their ego and their narcissism proceeds over what is best for their children in their family units. But I believe they are coddled by the women that they're able to convince to participate in this, and also the society's view of men that says that if a man has money, power, and fame, he's somewhat untouchable. And they act on that. And a lot of women keep playing into this game, and then here we are nitpicking men who have showed us their true colors on every spectrum of the Roy G. Biv. It's almost like the interview was great because the points that she makes are great, but it's kind of like pointless because it's gonna fall on deaf ears because the damage has already been done. The women have already allowed themselves to be factories for foolishness, and they're also playing a part in homes being broken. Now, I can also play devil's advocate to say that in most cases, the children are at home with mom, so the mothers are not necessarily breaking the homes. Women are stepping up to the plate a little bit more than men when it comes to raising children. So ladies, you just have to be honest and be very careful with your intentions and protecting your womb. Nobody has control over your womb but you. As for the men, you can obviously see their recklessness is embedded in them, and I want women to make better choices because these men know exactly what they're doing. They're not dumb, and yes, the consequences of their actions will be an internal battle for them, whether it's now or then, but it'll be a consequence for you as a woman and your child eternally. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. I want y'all to tune in tomorrow. I have a huge surprise for y'all. I'm just going to kind of spill the beans a little bit, but I am finally hosting my first ever meet and greet. It will be in Philly and it will be on September 21st. I'll have details. So if you're in Philly, Jersey, New York, wherever, definitely mark that date on your calendars. We have vendor slots available and general admission. We have an after party at the club. Y'all, I'm doing it for real. So just wanted to throw that out there. Also, make sure you guys check out my vlog channel. I always link it down below so you guys can check out my personal life just outside of YouTube. And as always, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all. Say I look stellar, tu me fais bêta, ils sont jealous. C'est mon père from my left side. J'ai regardé, je ne vois pas no other man. Number one, Papa, you know you're my only one. 2x2, buy me everything under the sun. Trois, c'est moi, bisous on my body, love that. Yeah, we had tough times, can we rise above that? Your smile's my weakness, your body give me releases. With you, my day be increasing, it does. You bless me like sneezes. I could write a whole thesis when I give you these reasons. Count on, 2, 3, come on, baby, come on.